What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So it's starting to get cold and snowy out. Not cool. So we're going to start working on the Firecat today. We got to fix that piece of shit. No, I'm just kidding. It's not so bad, but but it needs some love for sure. So what are we going to do today? I don't even know what we're doing. Clutch is coming off, primary clutch. I want to put a new clutch spring in it. We got to get the skid out because both the shocks are obliterated, blown. They need to be rebuilt. Studs are just started to hit the tunnel. I'm assuming just from the last little bit I rode it with the blown shock. So we're going to put a tunnel protector down the center of it so the studs don't hit anymore. I don't even think it will once I get good shocks in it and I'm not bottoming out everywhere. Other than that, I don't know. We'll see. Usually when you start taking things apart, older stuff that's someone you bought off someone that never maintained it, you run into everything. The farther you go, the worse it gets. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I guess we'll get started on that. Like I said, clutch out, rear suspension out. The front A-arm's got to come out. It needs some new bushing, stuff like that. Oh, and there's going to be some stuff on the VMAX coming up soon. If any of you guys want to see more of that, it's coming. And if anybody can get me an OEM Yamaha windshield, please, God, find me one. Because I bought this aftermarket snow stuff one. First of all, it's supposed to be smoked. I don't know about you, but that's dead clear to me. And also, when I bought it, they had it folded up in a box like a futon so it could fit in the box instead of actually getting a box that fits it. And I don't know if you can tell. Get this out of the way. But if you follow the top line of the windshield, it's bent in right here. Big time bent. So, you know, classic bull, but whatever. If you guys know of a clean Yamaha windshield, an OEM one, this is the one here. That's actually tinted a little bit. And you know one that's not busted, let me know. 81 SRX 440, same windshield, I believe. So anyways, we'll have videos on that another time. Let's go. All right, so we got the clutches out, the skid out. I have to pull the springs out so I can see that shock, but I jumped on it really quick. It actually feels good, so I don't know. I don't see any oil leaking or anything. The front looks like it was probably, this one I think it's a bit wet. So regardless, we're gonna pull both shocks out, but check this out. Look at this. There's play and everything. So both shock mounts on the front shock, loose, and then these scissor arm mounts here where it mounts into the rail, big time loose too. And the spring block looks like it's sitting on a 45th Avenue too, so something's going on there. So let's start pulling the skid apart. I'm gonna pull this front scissor arm off and get the shocks out. All the idlers feel good, but I changed all the bearings in them somewhat recently, so that's no surprise. One thing I did notice too, I don't really know what's going on here, but this wheel seems to be, this upper wheel seems to be rubbing on the spring, and I think it's because the spring block itself must be, I bet you it's worn inside and it's allowing the spring to sit off center and touch the wheel. So we'll see. We'll probably need new those as well. But anyways, let's start pulling this all apart. All right, so we got this skid apart and we've got some problems. So Scissor arm bushings. I can't remember if I already talked about this. I think I did. Scissor arm bushings are toast. Actually, let me check here. I wrote a list. So the spring blocks here that the spring sits in, totally toast. They're sitting on an angle. See, it shouldn't be able to do that on the bushing. These are just worn out. Both of them toast. Both shocks, I tested them. Both are dead. They need to be rebuilt. I had a plastic tip that's broken on the rail here. Other one's good. What else we got? The front shock bushings, as you've seen, were toasted. Actually, kind of confused here. Check this out. So here's the shock. So this is the bushing that was inside, and like I don't get it. Like it's like a piece of rubber. Like I don't know if it's just missing the bushing that's supposed to be there, and someone put something in that wasn't supposed to be there. I don't know. Anyways, I'll have to look up some part numbers and figure that out. And then the last thing was the rail needs to be repaired. So where your front shock mounts, the lower mount, check that out. Look at that hole. Brutal. Now, I looked online, and I guess from what I'm seeing, that's a common thing. So they make a repair kit for it. So I might buy that. Or I might decide to be cheap and just plate it. Like I can put a small plate across. Probably have to tag probably have to tag these 4 bolts, drill a new hole, and plate it. But it gives the room for error to not get it centered. Probably should just buy the repair kit. And that's where we're at for that. The secondary, I took a quick look at the rollers. They're actually not bad. I figured they'd be flat spotted like crazy, and they're not. So I think I might even just toss the secondary back on. The primary, I'm waiting for a spring. So we're going to leave it for now because I don't have that yet. But we'll get that spring in, and that should be good. The weights should be good because I put those weights in somewhat recently, a few seasons ago, but I've barely driven the thing at all, and they were fine when I put them in. Worst case, they'll need some bushings, and I could do that. Now, the part that I'm not going to record because it's no fun for you guys to watch, I'm going to start pulling out some of these studs. It's hard to tell. There's a bunch of broken ones. There's a broken one. There's a broken one. There's 2 broken ones all over the place. They're broken. They're bent. See, the ones that have the short nuts are all bent. And as you can see, when the shock was blown, it started to hit the tunnel right down the center. So there's a little galley here that sits lower than the rest of the tunnel. And whoever studded this track, I guess it's a Firecat thing where you don't ever get your stud directly in the center because you'll smash this. So instead of pulling all the studs out and moving them over and re-drilling holes, because I don't feel like doing that, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this seat off, and probably the gas tank too, I guess. And I think I'm just gonna bolt or rivet an old chunk of a slider, one that's thin, like half board out there. I'm gonna rivet a slider all the way down the center, and it'll act as a tunnel protector. So if the studs do hit it, at least it'll just hit that slide and not smash the tunnel all to hell. And I don't think it really will anyways with the shocks rebuilt. I think the only reason why it was rubbing is because it was just riding on the springs. Unless I jump it big, but that's not going to happen with this thing, so I don't know. Anyways, I'll get to studding some stuff here, and I'll see you in a minute. All right, so it's been a couple hours, and track's done. Put all the new studs in that I could. Took out most of the bent ones. Give me a second here. And what I did was, the studs that were mounted close to the center, that were hitting the center section, that low point of the tunnel, I ended up removing them. Here's an example. I ended up removing the studs that were dead center hitting, and what I would do was I'd use the other existing hole that was on the double backer, and then just flip it and drill a new hole, mount the other stud out there. So now I have none in the center. I ended up having to put some single backer studs because some were literally dead center and both studs would hit it. But regardless, I spun the whole track watching as it passes that center section of the tunnel, and none of them are going to hit anymore. So fix that issue. We're good. In the meantime, what I did was I jacked the front end. Well, I jacked the whole sled up here on my lift, and I wanted to check the A-arms because I knew the A-arm bushings are worn out, and it's actually kind of not as bad as I thought. Upper A-arms on both sides are good. The lower A-arm bushings on the other side, these ones here on the opposite side, are toast. And this one here, I think actually might have worn out the tunnel. It's hard to see. Let me get a light here. You'll be able to tell. But I think the bolt must have been loose or something, and I think it might have worn out the tunnel, so I might have to make a bushing. But if you look here, it's going to be at that inner mount there. Of course, I won't be able to get this to hold. There we go. Okay, so check out that bushing there when I move it. I don't know if you can see that, but anyways, very, very loose. Actually, you know what? I can see that the bolt is loose. I might get lucky and I might just have to smash that bolt down. Doubt it. But anyways, that's probably it for this one because it's getting late. Stay tuned for the next one. I'll have all these parts in for the rear skid. I'll have these shocks rebuilt. I'll have that primary clutch spring in. And whatever bushings I do need for the front end, I'll get those. And we'll throw this whole mess back together. And I don't know, we'll see what happens. VMAX is going to be soon after that. Yeah, stay tuned, guys. There'll be more. Like I said, like I always say, if you like this stuff, please subscribe, share, comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you like seeing the sled stuff. I don't know. It seems like a lot of people like seeing the sled stuff, and I didn't do a whole lot of it last year. So let me know. I don't know. If you guys like it, I'll put more sled stuff out for sure. It's whatever you guys want to see. Comments are the best. Let me know what you want to see. And yeah, that's it for now. Take care, guys. Have a good one. All right, I know I said this video is done, but I started looking at that day. Oh, by the way, if you guys haven't had Cinepix before, let me tell you, whew, you're missing out. If you ain't on the pics, I don't know, I got nothing. I don't know what rhymes with that. Anyways, I guess you can't really see nothing. But long story short, I removed the skid plate so I get that A-arm bolt. Let me tell you, she was loose. And let me tell you another thing. I tightened it. And guess what? You won't be able to see, but she's fixed. Look at that. Don't even gotta buy parts. Anyways. Yeah, peace out for real this time. See ya. Hey! Subscribe to the channel.